What's up, everybody? It's Patrick Wagner, and this is Digital 100, episode number 25. I know it's been a bit of pause between the videos, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to that long pause. And actually, the topic of this video today connects directly to that. So, in many ways, it had to happen the way it did. So, recently I watched a Gary Vaynerchuk video, and it kind of lit off an idea that really worked well with me. And he talked about the real estate of the internet right now and how there is this massive land grab. And that connected with me because I got on the internet back in 1994, which was not really early days in terms of the real internet and the concept, if you know, dating back into the 60s and 70s. And a lot of the work in the 80s that happened. The 90s was the first kind of like public and broader accepting of the internet once you started to get kind of, a full color browser mosaic and people started to see pictures. Then it started to seem like a real concept that people would like. Anyways, that's when I got involved. And the opportunities then were, I could register McDonald's.com, BurgerKing.com, Coca-Cola, whatever domain, they were all available. So the opportunity was there. I was involved in website development and marketing, and I got into search engine optimization and search engine strategy, or SEO in general. And I really liked understanding algorithms and how search engines work. And back at that day, I could put up a page on any topic and basically type in the keywords and the meta tags, and within a few hours, because we'd gotten a broad enough network of backlinks, I could pretty much build traffic to any website I built. So I had the ability to launch content, connect it to any topic, and generate leads and traffic. It was when my era, the golden era of kind of, my age of folks that started online in 94 to about the dot-com bubble bust in 2001. So back to Gary's video, it kind of connected that dot for me and made me realize those were the days where if I had been not 16 and 18 at the time, I may have understood the opportunity that was there, and that I should have been putting up, and I was putting up hundreds of pages a day on different topics. And I got into the lead generation business because of that and started understanding niches and marketing to niches and developing content for each niche in order to generate leads. And I was getting paid by generating leads. So yeah, I was probably one of the original folks that got you on some list that you originally wanted to get on, but I'm sure you didn't like in 1996, if you were on email that early. But what that made me realize was if I could have really stepped on the gas back then, I could have had a tremendous success, right? So I kind of blame youth and my own inability to see the scope of the opportunity. And so Gary's point kind of made me realize what the opportunity really is, and how I connected that directly to video, and video being the web page of 1994. And at that time, I was creating web pages, connecting them with SEO tags, and getting traffic instantly through search engines, specifically Google, and around the world. So I was getting a lot of traffic really fast on any topic I wanted. And then that's what was my, big eureka moment from Gary's video, which was, oh my goodness, this is exactly what he's been talking about for video. Video is not about having all the most perfect videos up. It's the idea that now is this land grab that's happening. And back then, I could put up any page and get traffic, and a lot of traffic, and a #1 listing in Google with little effort. And I don't think video is that easy, but it's not that hard anymore. Everybody's got a camera. Everybody can talk. Everybody does it every day to other people. But for some reason in your head, when you put a camera up, everything changes. I understand if you're a shut-in and you never leave the house, there's some work to be done there. But the reality is, if you talk to anybody, you can do video. So this idea that it equated to me that publishing a page, generating traffic, and making money because I was able to get in front of the attention at the time, and I was able to watch it develop to the very first search engines that actually required you to pay to own a word. So I was one of the very first ones paying for keywords, and they cost 1 cent. So I could own the word digital marketing for 1 cent a click. At that time, again, I was young and didn't realize, okay, I was buying a little bit, $5, $10 and getting some traffic and doing well. You know, had I put in hundreds or thousands of dollars and owned that keyword, I probably would have been a, you know, digital marketing guru at 16 or 18. And realizing that now, I think this is the opportunity with video. The people who get that opportunity are going to publish content on video or in the video format every single day on as many platforms as they can. Again, previous to this thought, I would have believed that the concept was do what you're normally doing and then tag on some video concepts or videos to promote what you're doing. And now I've realized if this is like what 1992, 94 was for me back in the day, that I could put up any bit of content and generate traffic and get attention, then why am I not generating as much video content as I can? And the answer is scalability, right? So you just need to scale. So everything should not be focused on as let's tag on one video to a big project and call it a success. Let's do one video every week and call it a fucking big win. Let's do one video every 2 weeks or once a month and call it a huge win. When the reality is, I think the bare minimum is, what are the top platforms that you're on? Let's go with the top 7 to 10. And why are you not posting content, video content, every single day on those pieces of platforms or those contents? Sorry, on those platforms. Because that's basically, I think, the secret. You know, it took me a while because I still was struggling with the idea that you have to produce quality content that has to be at a very high standard. Otherwise, why are you producing that content? And it doesn't make any sense. Now I realize that it's this attention of even a few views on YouTube, then on LinkedIn, then on Vidler, and then on a different platform like Snapchat or Instagram. All of these start to add up. And the reality is that attention is only there and as easy to get right now for a limited period of time. And I think that was the big eureka moment for me, was that's what this is. Before I would have seen this as, oh, this will last forever, like I did at the time. At the time, I was like, oh, SEO will work forever. I'll be able to add keywords to this, and I'll do that project next month, and in 6 months, I'll do this. Where I realized, no, that was like a 1 to 3 year event, where those who took it seriously at whatever point they entered gained the most, right? And this is the exact same thing happening now with video and social media. The people who enter and take advantage of it the most are going to gain the most. And once that land grab becomes, so crazy and there's so many people trying to get land and everyone's doing video, then it won't matter as much. Then that leading edge won't be there anymore. Then you'll have to pay a lot of money to have a video appear in the top position on LinkedIn. Whereas right now, very few people, if anybody, does video on LinkedIn, right? So that's an advantage. That's something you should be working on. That's something to be taking advantage of. Snapchat is another great one, and I have a big flaw in that one. I have left that one alone, and I just thought of it as another platform and another complicated way that I had to add video and keep feeding my audience. But now I realize that the quality of the content of the video matters, but what matters more is generating the content every day. What matters more is generating content every day on as many platforms as you can. Now, that doesn't take away from this fact that it should be relevant and useful, but it also can be fun and meaningless. People aren't always looking for being turned on and always having to learn something and always having to be told what to do or inspired to do something. So don't think that you have to have only one angle and one representation. In fact, that's why it's nice to bring in other people from your office or business to see what they would do and how they would approach a video or what videos they like, and try to do it through that lens in order to, you know, show that audience as well that you're open to it. So treat your company channel and social media a little bit wider and broader than just a corporate brand perspective. And I think that was something I was doing, where I was trying to limit, saying, okay, it's digital marketing, therefore if it doesn't fall within that lens, I'm going to have a hard time wanting to discuss it on this channel, and maybe I should have another channel, when the reality is I'm better off, and you're better off, to discuss everything on one channel and realize that, you know, today I might be talking about analytics, which is totally digital marketing. But if you've done your analytics stuff for your website and social media, you're probably not going to tune in much, and you're going to move on to something else, whatever you're watching. That doesn't stop me from making that content. Just like if today I wanted to talk about how to organize maybe my stand-up desk here and how much it's helped. You know, again, some people might be like, doesn't matter to me, and they'll move on, but there will be a chunk of the audience, of my audience, that will look at that and go, I've never thought about that. Let me try that. So don't stop yourself and try to, you know, keep your content limited to a very specific small sandbox. I'd say go wide and do as much content as you can on as many platforms. I think the really successful folks on platforms will find a way to use each platform in a unique way so that you can do that same piece of content, but have a very specific strategy on how to spin it for each of the different platforms. And see, that's the kind of work and strategy work that I enjoy doing. And if you have any questions specifically about your companies or brands, you know, comment or reach out to me on social media. I'd love to maybe use you guys as a case study or answer maybe your question through video. Way of me getting content and a way of you guys getting answers for what you're looking for. But if you can record one video session and then have a few cameras set up, each one recording for a different platform, or having let's say camera number 3 for Snapchat and for Facebook Live, and another one recording for another platform that's distributed to, let's say, 2 or 3, and with the right messaging, or some are imagery with text, and just knowing what to do lets you scale out that one-time piece of work to 7 or 10 platforms in a very unique way. And if you can't do that, again, I still think finding a way to produce content for these platforms as often as you can is the goal. So making it look perfect, or making sure you have the graphic that says the episode number, or remembering the episode number, or whatever it might be, doesn't matter. What matters is that you put up a video on LinkedIn. And I'm using LinkedIn only because I would previously never have really thought about wanting to produce content on LinkedIn. You know, it's just not my platform. I really enjoy Instagram, and then Twitter, and then Facebook. I didn't really see the value of that, but now I get all of the platforms matter, and to leave any of them behind is a mistake, especially at this incredible opportune time. So the reality is, it's adjusting a lot of things rather than trying to maintain so much of your old structure. It's actually now refocusing yourself, saying, if you want to take advantage of this incredible moment, dive in and produce as much content as you can every single day. And I think that's what explained to me also why Gary Vaynerchuk produces so much of his content on a daily basis. And he, you know, really does a great job of saying, document your life. So take the camera and document what you're doing. And don't think about producing an episode like today has to be episode 25 and it has to be about this topic, and you have to realize these quality points. No, it could be, hey, today is I'm building this stand-up desk because it really helps when you're at a desk a lot to stand up. And so I built this desk. I got it here. This is how it worked. And just explaining why you're going through those things. You know, that content matters. And it matters that you're producing that content every day, and that people are tuning into the larger story, not just the specific stuff that you think people want. And so, you know, when you document what you're doing, whether you want to call it, your life, your journey, your business, then document it. Document it every day. Fill in content on the platforms every single day. Don't judge whether you think people will like it or not. Use the artistic idea that people are not going to like every single song you produce on an album, right? As a singer or a musician. But the reality is, most often the biggest hits are not the ones that the artist or musician believed would be the big hits. So you got to stop trying to figure out what you believe people are going to think is the big hit at your store or at your brand. And that changes also with time. So it's very hard to think that you're going to be able to know 100% what people are thinking and feeling and executing content for that at the exact moment. You're better off to execute a large amount of content, understand and use that content to sniff out what people want more of, and then spend more time to develop a deeper strategy around that. In one case, it might be a specific employee that just has a great appeal on video and connects with people. And that connection might last for 6 months, or it might last for 6 years, as you see with some brands out there. It's not for you to judge, it's for you to monitor with analytics and with feedback from people. So get on the bandwagon of starting to execute and realize that the real estate and this opportunity now is there's cheap real estate in video content development. This is the time to invest in video content development. Every single day you produce a piece of video content, it's like getting 1 share for free in that platform. I almost want to equate it to that so people realize if you don't produce that piece of content today on Snapchat, you don't get that Snapchat share when it goes on an IPO, or if it is already, I know it's public, you don't get that value. And unless you do it that way, then you realize, okay, well, today I did a video like this one on YouTube for you guys, but I didn't do it on those other platforms. Well, I gave up those shares and someone else got them. Now, how many days would you go before you realize, you know what, you're missing out? That's the real opportunity. Every day producing video content and gaining those followers on these different platforms at a time where whatever niche you're in, you're going to get visibility. You have a high probability of getting visibility, especially the way these weird algorithms run on all these different platforms. And in some platforms, there's a real need for video content. Some of the more interesting ones out there that I'm going to stop beating up on LinkedIn, but Quora, I use that one a lot. And now over the last few months, they started allowing people to answer questions on Quora with a video response. So again, right there, a huge opportunity. They want video content. They're giving it a higher ranking in the results. Therefore, those who respond to that call and produce video content are going to get the attention that they wouldn't have got before, or they would have had to pay a lot of money to get the clicks to hopefully get the attention to watch the video. So when you realize all the steps you're saving and all the cost savings you're doing, you wouldn't waste the energy and the effort doing all the things you have to do now to maintain your digital business. You'd be focusing all your chips on video. Now I get why Gary Vee is so 100% in on video and has been for quite a while. So I've been wavering about producing quality content and thinking about topics and, balancing it all. Now I'm realizing, you know what, I need to shut up and produce more video content, period. And just keep coming up with topics and keep talking about stuff and taking your questions and building it into videos and not caring about whether the depth of the answer is enough for a full episode and worrying about, well, if this is a 3.5 minute video, it doesn't really qualify for a full episode. Stupid stuff like that is things you need to get out of your head. You just getting in front of the camera and recording a video and posting it on these platforms for whatever your niche is gives you that attention that you wouldn't have gotten the day before, or starts to build up your value in that niche. And then when things do change, whether it's an algorithm change or whether audiences jump from one platform to another, you'll be there and you'll have the ability to jump up in those rankings on that niche. And all of a sudden on Snapchat, you're the biggest scrunchy hair maker, right? Or my daughter's slime becomes the biggest thing on Instagram because she's been working on Instagram for the last year and a half. You know, these things aren't going to happen by accident. They're not going to happen overnight, but it is like a roulette table, and the bets are limited. And in this case, let's say this digital roulette table, every spot can only have one chip. Every chip is a video, you know, so every day, if you put your chips down, you have a chance of getting a huge amount of traffic for that piece of content or learning what your niche wants. Either way, it's a win. Either way, you need to prioritize producing as much video content as you can for as many platforms as you can. Because right now, you're spending way too much time and energy doing all the other stuff, which takes a lot of work to build someone down the funnel of paying for a paid click, taking them to a website, making sure that attention stays, following up with remarketing, and continuing to build them down to the life cycle of actually taking an action or really having their attention to do something. Video is one of the unique ways that gets people to that point. So the opportunity is there. You really have to go after it at this point. You know, I think the term real estate is like the most important thing, or location, I apologize. Location. And I think that in digital terms results in now saying, you know what, create video. That's the location, right? The location are these platforms, and video content is the location. If you're not producing that video content, you're not in the right location. So it really doesn't matter. You're spending way too much time and energy producing little results. Whereas the video at this point, you know, a lot of people think it's costly and has to be done really expensive. And again, you're shooting yourself in the foot by realizing and thinking that that's the case, because that's not the case, right? The reality is it takes a smartphone and a very minimal setup, maybe $100, and anybody can start taping in HD and posting on all platforms. So there really is no excuse out there. And now that I'm telling you, you know, this is the biggest opportunity right now and in history to be able to create video, produce that content on all the platforms, and grab a chunk of the marketplace and attention at a price that you'll never see again, and is shrinking as time goes on. So this opportunity might last the next, I don't know, year, 2 years, or it might be 9 months. I don't know 100%. I'm probably thinking it's a year to 2 years. But the acceptance of a technology can be very rapid at a certain point. All it takes is some cool new app or a cool new technology that changes the game, and all of a sudden everybody's comfortable doing video when it's a tiny piece of jewelry that's innocuous, or it's built into a shirt somewhere and you don't even see it. That kind of stuff, right? So we don't know if that moment's right around the corner. You know, at this point, all I do know is if you can produce any content on a daily basis, you are winning. You are winning over all the people spending tens of thousands of dollars on pay-per-click advertising, all the people out there paying for all the other social media ads, right? The reality is producing video content is your biggest advantage, right? And then realizing what people really want out of that content will help you drive some concepts to build campaigns for social ads. But doing it the other way around absolutely is going to cost you a lot more money. So the opportunity is there. The real estate is video. And the only way to play in the game is to produce content every day on these platforms. So that's why I'll be producing content for all the platforms on a daily basis and expanding the content that I produce for platforms. So what I will be sharing on my show is how I'm doing that, how you guys can scale, and I'll be playing around with all the challenges of scaling and trying to figure out how do you work on all these platforms. So I'm hoping that as I share some other of my social media profiles, you can jump on Snapchat with me and see how that development happens and how I'm able to, you know, do those videos on a daily basis and how they change from maybe these videos on YouTube, and that might give you ideas on how you can do it for your business. Plus, like I said, if you have some ideas specific about your business, please leave them in the comments, or shout out to me on Instagram at wagsdot or on Twitter at Patrick Wagner. And I'd love to kind of go through some scenarios and do some videos and do some snaps, or do videos on other platforms showing you examples of how you could do it for your businesses as well. That way you can take those examples, use them directly, and see the results and the benefits too. So that'll give me some content to make, and it'll give you guys some answers that you're looking for. So I hope this video has helped, and I hope this helps you realize the amazing opportunity right in front of you here with video, and how important it is for you guys to take action on video on a daily basis, no matter how small, no matter how insignificant you might think it is. It's way more important to put that shovel in the ground, take a shovel of dirt and run it through the machine to find the gold nuggets. It's never going to happen by you sitting back there saying, should I take a shovel? Should I put that dirt in there? Should I put it in the machine? All of these humming and hawing moments are not going to help you. Being active every day on these platforms will help you. You will develop better strategies. You will get feedback. It will be a great experience. You will grow. These are all win-win-wins across the board, especially for big companies, brands, organizations out there. You have a unique opportunity to do something your other competitors can't, which is take advantage of this moment in that way. It seems like everybody else out there is always following the leader, and that's why I think now everybody out there does digital ads and spends on Google ads, no question, because everyone else has to. It's the only place you can go. A lot of people look at the fringe elements and try to find that, then they try to work on social ads and find those very difficult. So everyone kind of fighting for that market. Very few people are investing and taking the time in video now. So I think for any small, medium, and large organization, you should be tripling down on video development. You should be getting a camera in the hand of every manager, senior manager, director, VP. Kind of like what happened a few years ago on Twitter, when every executive in the world had a Twitter account that they started because it was mandatory, because social media was changing the game, and they posted 3 times and they've done like nothing since then. I think we got to do the same thing, but for video, and do those body cams like the police have, and just put them on every executive, put them on different people every day, and then take back that video and chunk out some different content on a daily basis. We need to move some of the security cameras from up high down to eye level so we can capture better eye level camera shots automatically. I'm telling you, all of these little changes would allow you to scale and make video content and live show on a regular basis. I know that's the extreme, but those are opportunities and options that are out there. At this point, putting a camera and a simple smartphone in the hands of a few of your key employees and asking for very specific shots, like when we're producing this, can you take some video? When this happens, take some shots. When you guys are getting rid of this, do that. When you guys are having this meeting, can you videotape the last 30 seconds? Can you do this? Can you do that? It makes it easier. The worst thing you can do is drop a camera in a team's hands and say, okay, take whatever video, and then spend hours and hours trying to edit it. We want to avoid that at all costs. Anyways, guys, I think that's enough for today. I'm super excited that this, concept of video being the real estate and doing it every day is your location, and you need to show up at that location every day. And if you do not show up with a video, it's like not coming to work. It's like not opening your store. You need to have video on these platforms on a daily basis. So start adjusting your plans accordingly. I'm doing the same on my side, and I'll share some of these plans with you guys as we go on. And I think we'll be seeing these Digital 100 episodes coming out on a more regular basis because of these newfound kind of concepts that I'm really dealing with. Anyways, guys, have a fantastic day and keep building digital business.